Hey, welcome to the Lifeline Conference 2.0. And I'm your host, Daniel Bowman, and I'm excited to have you join us for the first session in day one of the Lifeline Conference. And our theme for this year is Fuel Your Passion and Voice Your Vision. And we've had a great run from the breakout sessions we had earlier in the month up until this very moment. So if you're, just joining us for the very first time, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or to whatever platform you're using to join us in this very transformative experience. Now, since the very start of the session, when we had the first breakout session, I went on to just fully explain the vision behind Lifeline Conference and why we chose this team, Fuel Your Passion and Voice Your Vision. Now, for many years now, I have been, speaking about developing potential and helping people to discover, the principles and keys to rewarding and fulfilling life. And that brings me to my conversation today, or we're going to be deliberating about, which is the future of employment, all right? And the need to acquire sustainable skills that would help you in the future. Now, as you all know, the world is fast changing. So many things are going on now. People are moving from the traditional way of doing business to new innovations that have, come up, and the world is really changing really quick. So, we're here at Lifeline Conference to give you a roadmap, all right, to help you, face the future head on without having to worry or have any concerns. Because, we know that so many things are going on now. Robots are beginning to take over our jobs. But at the same time, in this same period, there are so many people out there who are still valuable to their companies and are still making a lot of, money from the skills that they monetize and they offer, as a service. Now, I'm going to be deliberating full force on this conversation. The future of work, the future of employment, and the skills, the skills we need in order to stay relevant in this industry, in whatever industry or sector you find yourself in. Now, my mission is simple. I'm here to give you wings that will help you soar high, wings that will help you prepare for the future. We all know, it's difficult to make certain predictions about the future. In fact, the only, certainty about the future is that it will be totally different from today. All right. This is a wake-up call that would prepare you for the future. And I'm sure that as you continue to go with me in this deliberation, I'll begin to, open your eyes to new ideas and things that you would learn, to help you get a rewarding and fulfilling life. All right. So as we all know, a future founded on change is certain. We don't know how things will work out in the next 2 years. We had predictions way back in 2020, all right, by LinkedIn and so many other sources saying, especially the World Economic Forum, saying that 42% of the jobs right now are going to change completely. So we have new technology evolving, and there's so many things now that are beginning to happen. So we need to stay, consistent with the tides as they change. Now, this is especially true for changes in the future of employment because old jobs in the past will be replaced by new innovations in the future. And by the way, the future is now, all right? Not next week, not next month, not next year. We're already in the future. We're starting to see how things are shaping out, how the world is taking form. And so if you must remain relevant in this new age, you have to, learn, relearn, and unlearn. All right. So I'm just going to show you a few things, some important skills that you need to learn. And also I'm going to show you, I'm going to, highlight certain skills that would help you thrive in whatever industry in the future. So first of all, I want to start by saying the future of work and employment is centered on acquisition of the right skills. And all right, that can be now when we talk about skills about the future of employment, we first of all need to understand that what are companies looking for right now? What are companies to pay? The future of employment is different, depending on certain economies. All right, the economies of certain countries in the world. Now, over here in Nigeria, as a developing country, is totally different. So, how the future is shaping out over here in this part of the world, things are not moving so quickly because we are yet to capture all the fast-moving changes. But first of all, we must understand that we need to stop thinking about our careers as a role. Okay, a few years ago, there was no such thing as an influencer or a social media manager. But guess what? We're in a new system. We're in a new age now where influencing and social media management is a thing. All right. You don't even need a degree to have that kind of title. All you need to do is build those skills and, yeah, skills that you would be able to monetize that people will be willing to pay for. All right. So, without wasting any much of our time, most industries are fully disrupted at this time. I would like to start with that. And they will continue to face more changes as we evolve. In 2020, the World Economic Forum predicted that in 2020, yeah, the World Economic Forum predicted that in 2022, 42% of all the core skills required to perform certain existing jobs will change. And this means that in an average company of 150 people, 63 persons will need to reskill and upgrade their knowledge to remain relevant in that organization. That's a big thing. All right. And also, 1 billion jobs globally, which is one third of all existing jobs, will be overwhelmed by technology. So, let me paint a few scenarios for you. So, first of all, the keyword that we've been looking for since I started speaking today is technology. All right. So just take a minute and just breathe through it. Technology. As we all already know, technology is playing a leading role in every possible scenario you can imagine. All right. And with the fast evolvement of technology in everything, even the most highly skilled professionals are under threat of losing their jobs and could easily be replaced by computers. It's already prevalent in most economies where, computers are taking in the jobs, and most organizations are relying on these machines, to perform the tasks because they're in the quest to minimize cost and human error. All right. So imagine where today computers are conducting diagnostic tests, in replace of doctors. And we find now that machines are solving complex calculations that normally would only be possibly done by engineers in the past. And you also have, imagine a scenario where you're in a classroom where you're no longer being taught by a professor, but a processor. So I know it's depressing, but the truth is we're in a time where things are evolving, things are changing, and we must stay, consistent as the tides change and as things begin to develop and things begin to evolve. We're in the era of AI, artificial intelligence, which is highly considered in almost every industry today. Well, someone might say, aren't these machines created by humans? Of course they are. But don't forget that these machines are created by a group of individuals that understand the future of employment. All right. Do you understand the need to rely on machines rather than human beings? Now, like I said earlier, they are searching for how to minimize cost and human error. So it's a lot to swallow in, but here's the thing. You must continually stay relevant alongside technology by building an eager mindset of learning and evolving. It requires you to imbibe the habit of lifelong learning, okay? Because it's an integral part of our lives. If we always continue to learn, like I started, you have to learn, relearn, and unlearn certain things. Because the things our forefathers knew in the past, in the good old days, have totally faded away now. And the things we know today will become obsolete by tomorrow. So you see that so many things are changing, so many things are evolving quickly. And so for us to stay relevant, for us to stay, thriving in this new age, we must first of all be willing to have the habit of lifelong learning. Now, I want to share a model with all of you. It's called, I learned this from Walter Vandenberg. Okay, I hope I didn't spell that. I didn't pronounce that wrongly. But Walter has a model, all right, and he explains this model it's the model of the future. Okay, the profession of the future, and it is shaped in a T form. So imagine I'm standing straight and then my hands are spread out. Now it's shaped in a T shape. It's formed in a T shape, like the structure of a man, and like any T, it has two axes. Now each axis has a skill. On the vertical axis, the skills are deep. They go from top to bottom. All right, and then from side to side, we have the horizontal axis. Now let me start by explaining the vertical axis. Now the skills on the vertical axis, okay, are knowledge skills. Okay, your knowledge skills, and I want you to write this down. They are work and industry specific skills. These are hard skills. All right. Now, knowledge skills, as we know, you develop them as you go to school. You want to be an architect, you want to be an engineer, you want to, be whatever profession, like a doctor, for instance. These are hard skills that you learn. Okay, they are knowledge based. Now, these are skills tailored to meet the needs of that particular sector. All right. In everyday life, knowledge skills evolve quickly. It requires a lot of upgrade. There are a lot of things that architects in the early 2000s have advanced into now in 2022. There's so many fantastic buildings coming out now that if you were an architect back in the day, you would be amazed by all the awesomeness happening currently right now. So things are evolving quickly. And whenever you have knowledge skills, you have to, like I said, you have to, imbibe the habit of lifelong learning. Now, it is the only way for you to remain update and not obsolete. All right. Now, let me give you a realistic illustration, okay, using the baking industry, for instance. And there's this new trend going on now where people are creating realistic cakes, where you find an object just like my phone, and it could just easily be a cake. So by the time you get to slice it in half, you find out that it is actually a cake, but then the makeup, the design looks so real. All right, hence the name realistic. So you find out that hard skills are evolving and you're becoming a lot complex, a lot complicated. If you do not continue to upgrade in the baking industry right now, you just might not be called up to place an order or receive an order, rather. You would get away because things are evolving. People could just dial you on the phone and they're like, hey, I want a cake that looks just like a phone, all right? And I want to serve it to someone for their birthday, and I want them to actually think it's a phone. I saw a video on social media where she baked a cake that looked just like a sneaker, all right? And he thought it was an ideal sneaker, like the real deal. So when she opened the pack, he thought he was about to fit his leg into the cake, and he just stepped into the shoe, rather. He just stepped into the cake. So it blows your mind how people have evolved over time to make things a lot real, and it's actually interesting because it shows you that we're in a time and period where things are changing quickly, and like I said, you must stay relevant, you must stay consistent. But my interest and primary focus for today is on the horizontal axis, which consists of skills that are independent of whatever industry. Okay, let me repeat that. The skills on the horizontal axis are independent of whatever industry. Now, when you have this kind of skills, you really don't need to bother so much about the future because no matter the job, no matter the working environment, you can always perform at the very best. And the funny thing is, or rather, the real truth is, we need them everywhere, even outside the working environment. Because on the horizontal axis, you'll discover that such skills are behavioral. All right, these are skills that are essential because they allow us grow and stand out in the work environment. And I like to call them the growth skills. Now, write this down also. They are work and industry neutral skills. Work and industry neutral skills. Now, just like the term neutral, we explained in the vertical axis that they are work and industry specific skills. Specific, meaning they are only relevant to that particular industry. But for the growth skills, they are work and industry neutral, meaning they could, be used in every sector and in many industries. Now, let me give you an illustration before I go into it. Imagine a company where they lay off 50 or more people just to keep one person. And now in your mind, you're like, oh, wow, that's actually very mean. That's actually not nice. How could they do that? How could they lay off so many people just because of one person? But here's the truth. You find out that if you look in deeper, that one person is able to provide multiple options for the organization. They could use that person in so many ways. The person is versatile. So they find that person as high value. They find that person as a crucial addition to the team. So that person is indispensable because of the skills they have acquired over time. Now, wouldn't you love to be that kind of person? All right, where you are in an environment, you're in an employment where they consider you as hot priority. They don't joke with you. Whenever they want to take certain decisions, they have to consult with you first because they know what you carry. All right. Now, it's sad to say the other 50 could get laid off. Maybe they're not all, what's the best way to play this now? So they lay off 50 people, and then from the 50, it's not like all of them don't have good skills. But the thing is, they probably have just only developed their knowledge skill, but they haven't developed their growth skill. All right. So the company doesn't feel as though they can add more value outside what they already possess. And that's why I said you must continue lifelong learning. It's the only way to stay relevant. Now, unlike knowledge skills, growth skills are more less sensitive to the changing world. Once you have acquired such skills, they will stick with you forever. No matter the type of job, you'll always be able to utilize your growth skills. And I've been going on about this. So, what are these growth skills? What are these behavioral skills that are not sensitive to the changing world? So number one, I want to start with creativity. Just from the word create, we already have an idea what this means. This skill relates to the development of new and useful ideas. Creative people are complex problem solvers, connecting the dots to make things better. People with such skills are able to see things differently. They are intellectually curious. All right. They're intellectually curious. They have a wild imagination. They just come into this space, and then you just see them act all cuckoo, because of the amount of ideas busting through their heads. All right. Now, the thing about creativity, especially as a growth skill, is because it is very important when it comes to innovation. You need people who can see things differently. You need people who can think outside the box. You need people who can read between the lines. You need people who can see a problem and fix it before anybody else even thinks about it. That's what creativity means. All the fantastic innovations we have today started as a thought. All right. You have so many ideas like Coca-Cola. Somebody, two guys just sat down I'm sure in their living room. They're like, hey, how about we imagine an object that can fly in the sky without falling down, that can hold enough weight without crashing down? That's why we have aeroplanes today. Somebody talks about the boat standing firm on the high sea. So you find out that creativity is actually very, very important, especially in the future, because things are changing, and with creativity, you're also continually providing innovations that have never been imagined. All right. So creativity is a very important skill that you must, look to build and look to involve, upgrade in your life for you to stay relevant. So number two is critical thinking. Now, with critical thinking, uh, let me just start by saying that with critical thinking, it's like five and six. All right, critical thinking is like two people that move side by side in pairs. Now they complement each other with creativity, because as much as you're creative, you also need, to analyze and make the right decisions. You also need to develop strategies that can be implemented in your place of work. Now, many people who are creative are most likely going to be critical thinkers because they develop strategies that can be implemented anywhere. Now, let me expand by giving you a scenario where you go into an organization and there are people they call experts, there are people they call specialists. Now, these people over the years have built this skill to analyze and develop strategies. They have mastered their craft. And so they have been able to stay consistent in providing a solution. And that's why they're called critical thinkers. Every organization is looking for them. All right. Now let's move on to the third one, which is self management. Now, with self management, identifying who you are and what you want to accomplish out of life is largely attributed to self management. All right. Now, this skill set puts you apart from the bunch and keeps you target focused. Now, the thing about self management is when you know who you are, when you've identified who you are as an individual, you've identified who you are as a person, whether you're a business person or you're career driven, you first of all would, you know, have a map out plan, have a vision board that clearly states all the things you want to accomplish. And you find out that people in this category are always geared towards accomplishing everything that they want to, they have put down and they hope to achieve. It's like they're hungry for more. They never stop until they achieve that thing. They're always, gunning for more. They're always pushing for the very best. And you find that people who understand self-management skills last longer in every organization, because even though some people are demoralized, even though some people feel demotivated, the person with self-management is always up there, trying to stay consistent in whatever they're doing. Now, moving on, we have number 4, social intelligence. Now, social intelligence, often regarded as emotional intelligence, is actually very important. It's a very crucial growth skill. Now, let me give you an illustration. I like to give illustrations. So, now with this one, I was in an organization a few years ago, and we had a boss who he really didn't have good awareness about how people interact socially, emotionally. He just didn't understand how to communicate effectively. All right. Now, he didn't know how to read the room. And the thing about social intelligence is when you walk into a space, whether you're in an organization or you're just outside with interacting with different human beings, you must first of all understand their personalities, their temperaments. That is the only way you can coexist with them. Because this skill is the ability to, if yeah, effectively communicate, and listen and motivate and interpret the interest of others, not just yourself. Now, the thing about social intelligence is almost like the opposite of self-management. With social intelligence, you must master the skill to understand how to work with people, how to bring the best out of them, how to delegate, tasks to your subordinates, how to interpret your vision to your superiors. It is very important that you understand social intelligence. And I bet you all the skills that I've mentioned, 1, 2, 3, 4, creativity, critical thinking, self-management, social intelligence, you can build them. You can continue to grow them. You're not born with all of them. It's something that you over time you can continue to work on. All right. Now, it is very important because this skill is also of high value in the workforce right now and also in the future, by the way. Now, number 5, we have attention management. Now, I find this very interesting because so many people lack this skill. I used to struggle with this skill 5 short years ago, where I was really bad at time management or attention management. All right. Now, often referred to as time management because, when you are in an environment, when you're in an organization that is very time focused, they prioritize a lot on task, delivery and how quick you can deliver when you're given an assignment. It's very important that you know how to manage time. It requires you to pay attention to detail because time management is all about organization and planning according to details to ensure productivity. Now, with time management, you first of all need to understand that everything you're doing must be, put out for people to see. You must have a step-by-step guide. Now, give you a quick illustration with the Lifeline conference. When we first started out, when we got the team, it took us about 7 months to develop this idea to where we are today. It required a lot of organization, it required a lot of planning. We knew the people like in the team that were going to be very good at planning, and we picked them out to, organize that area. We knew those who would help us with the interaction part of things, with the critical thinking, with the creativity. And so you see, when you combine all these skills together, it brings home one beautiful pizza. So it's a wonderful combination where at the end of the day, you understand very well how all these 5 work. You would always stay relevant in whatever organization. Now, just to run you through number 1, creativity. Like I said, this is a skill that requires you to see differently from what others see. All right, and to be able to make the best decisions. Now, number 2, critical thinking requires you to analyze, to find and develop, useful strategies that can be implemented in the workforce. Number 3 is self-management. This is about identifying who you are as an individual, knowing what you carry on the inside, the things you can offer to the organization that is valuable. All right. Self-management is very important because the moment you know who you are and the things you want to accomplish, you're target focused. Now, number 4, beg your pardon, is social intelligence, emotional intelligence, the ability to work with people, the ability to listen, to motivate, to interpret, to communicate effectively. All right, this is a very important skill in every organization because even though you are a subordinate or you're superior to someone, you must possess social intelligence skills. All right, it's very important for both the employee and employer, and I bet you this is one valuable skill in the future that is now. All right. And then lastly, we have attention management, which is all about organization and planning, okay, according to details to ensure productivity. Now, some might say, what about conflict management? What about complex problem solving? What about leadership? Now, all these qualities are made up of these five growth skills that you need to thrive in the future. All right. Now, all this being said, I know somebody's out there wondering what are companies actually looking for now? What are those skills that I can learn outside of all those things that you've mentioned now? What are those skills that I can learn that I can monetize that would ensure I stay relevant? Okay. Now I'm just going to brush through all of them. I have 8 here for you today. Now, number one, I like to start with this, which is digital marketing. Now, from an article I read earlier this month, digital marketing is in high demand in so many industries right now because everybody's going digital. All right, we had a whole breakout session about digital marketing. So that shows you how important it is. 59% of organizations are looking for people who can provide these skills for their SEO, for their paid advertising, for their CRO, name it. Digital marketing is so broad that you cannot exhaust it in just even in one season like this. It's very wide that if we want to expand on it so much, it would take the whole day. But the truth is, this is one skill to look out for in the future. So if you're out there and you're hoping that, hey, I want to break into the social media space, I want to be able to provide PR services for organizations, I want to be able to provide SEO services, Google Analytics, you know, paid advertising, CRO. This is one important skill you must look into. So go online, do some research, sign up for courses. We have one particularly at Pegatin Consult. So, in the comments below, in the comment below in the description box, you'll find a link that takes you where, you could sign up for a free course on digital marketing and we'll expose you to so many things you will learn and how you can build the skill and monetize it. Now, secondly, we have communications. Now, the thing about communication is so many people are out there with their businesses and organizations are looking for good people that can communicate their vision effectively. Like I said earlier, everything is fast changing now. People need copywriting skills. We need people who can, draft out a proper idea on paper and push it out, and people could relate to it and come through and say, hey, I want to be a part of this vision. Now, also, we need sales and marketing. This is very important because right now companies need individuals that can close deals. They need individuals that can market. They need individuals that can sell. So if you're in this area, if you're in this sector, and you have this skill of marketing, you can sell whatever it is to anybody. You are in the right place. So it is a skill you must continually improve. So go online, like I said, look us up, click on the link in the comment, and we have courses available for all this thing that I just mentioned. Now, I have some more coming up for you. Number 4, we have product design and management. Now, big tech companies are out there looking for product designers like crazy. They're a hot cake right now. A lot of people are looking for product designers and product managers. That's number 4. Number 1, I said digital marketing. Number 2, communications. Number 3, sales and marketing. Number 4, product design and management. Why? Because, with e-commerce now in today's world, with digital marketing, with so many other things, we need people who can actually manage all these different sectors. And so these are people that are being looked out for. And if you're hoping for a skill that you could learn that would make you a lot relevant, this is one skill to look into. Now, number 5, we need finance and accounting. Of course, we all know that for so many companies, we need people that can check their books. Now, last year alone, I spent over about $2,000 for just accounting. And it was actually a very big deal because we had a lot of money coming in, but we didn't know how to manage everything. So we had to bring in people who would help us look in our books, help us, manage all our transactions, keep a proper balance sheet of everything happening in the business because hey, the more money you get, the more you need your accounting to be organized. So look out for big firms out there if you have this accounting skill, if you have a good finance background and you're looking for companies that are willing to pay the big buck for your service, fine. And also don't forget, with a professional course like accounting, you need to get more certificates. So go out there, get more licenses, build your CV up, get your resume all buffed up. And by the time you approach these companies, I bet you one of them or two will be looking out for you. Now, number six, we have software skills. Now, we're in a time where everything is being, technology based. Like I said earlier, we're moving from the traditional way to the new way of innovation, which of course, has to do with technology. So, software skills are very important, whether it's coding, graphic design, video editing, you name it. I also happen to partner with an organization that requires a lot of software skills. Okay. Now, I remember one time where they were looking forward to, laying off a few people just to get the software guys in because they were transitioning. That's really, really impressive to show you the demand right now for people who can code, for people who can offer software skills is actually on the high demand. So please go out there, search for, places where you can learn these skills and build yourself up. And I bet you, with things shaping out right now towards technology, you want to be in that space where you can offer this skill. This is one skill, like I said, that lives with you forever. All the skills I've mentioned, the moment you master them, the moment you forge yourself around them, you continue to stay relevant. And then lastly, we have coaching and training. Of course, you still need to provide, okay, sorry, before this is point number seven, actually, which is coaching and training. We have one more. Now, with coaching and training, you very well know that there are people who are good at teaching others. All right. The people who are good at teaching others, which is also a very important skill. All right. I find myself in this category where I'm continually always trying to train and help entrepreneurs and SMEs, to build and scale. So this is very important. So if you're out there and you have the gift of coaching, the gift of training, gift of teaching, you want to really see how you could grow this skill because it is very, very lucrative. I bet you. It is a skill that all you need to do is have your products available. You can sell it as a service and people will sign up, to come learn from all the things you have to share. And then lastly, number eight, we have consulting. Just similar to coaching and training, but the thing with consulting is you are giving expert advice, regardless of whatever industry, whether it's in tech, whether it's in leadership, whether it's in education, whether it's in social media, we have a lot of people now in consulting. That's where you find the social media managers, you find the influencers of today. They are offering these skills because they have understood the value of providing expert opinion. So you want to be in that room when people are looking out for these top eight skills. Number one, let me just digital marketing. Number two, communications. Number three, sales and marketing. Number four, we have product design and product management. Most people like to call it digital product management, but whichever. Hey. Number five, we have finance and accounting. Number six, we've got software skills. Number seven, we have coaching and training. And number eight, consulting. Now, let me bring you back home to the motherland. Now, in Africa, like I started with, many companies are moving from the traditional sector to the tech-driven sector. So it's an exciting time to monetize your skill. The more skills you gather, the more flexibility and versatility you bring into any organization. Imagine you're in a football squad, and there's that one player who can play as center back, he can play at left back, he can play as a midfielder, he can even strike. Of course, he's going to give his coach a hard time because he is so versatile. He provides options. He is indispensable to that squad. So you want to be like that player, okay? You want to be that guy who can offer different things in the team. You want to be that guy who they need to call to get things done. Like I'm popularly known as the fixer. So you always want to be the fix-it guy. You want to be the guy they call and say, hey, we need this done. We need your help. How can you help us do this? You want to be in that position where you offer, different things. You want to gather as many skills as possible because the more skills you gather, the likely you would stay relevant in whatever organization. You become indispensable. Okay. So at the end, you need to learn, relearn, and unlearn. People who stay stagnant are definitely going to get left behind. Okay. So you don't want to be focus only on building your knowledge skill. I'm here to give you wings. That's how I started. I'm here to show you the way to fly, to soar high with your wings. And like I started, knowledge skills are important. Okay, they are. But knowledge skills without growth skills doesn't go so well. But you see, when you join the two together, when you have the knowledge skill and you have those growth skills, you find that you formed a very wonderful combination that would make you relevant in whatever industry you find yourself in. So 3 points to leave you with before I leave. First of all, never stop learning. Okay. Always continue to upgrade your skills, like we had in a wonderful session during the breakout session with Hope Goro. And she's explaining to us at that time that, the more you continue to improve your product and service, the more people continue to look for you. You stay consistent in building yourself, in building your brand identity, in creating new ideas around your service that makes it fresh. So you always want to stay fresh. You always want to stay up to date. Secondly, develop and improve your skills. You would never go to, a carpenter, for instance, who hasn't learned new ways to forge, to carve the wood. You need to go to somebody who understands that their skill requires upgrade, so that when people come and meet you with their demands, their scary demands, you are still able to provide top service for them. Now, lastly, we have most importantly, consistently develop your mindset. And like I started with, everything starts in the mind. Okay. All the wonderful innovations we have now started with the mind. It started as a thought. So you want to build your thinking cap. You want to continue to forge yourself to be a better person at unlocking the potential that is inside you. And we all have potential. We just need to tap into it and hope that by the time we identify with all the things we have, all the interests that we have, we'll continue to see wonderful results as we implement them in our place of work or whatever sector or whatever thing we want to use them for. So build on everything I've said today. I'm sure you attack the future with confidence. And like I said, the Lifeline Conference is designed to give you a roadmap. Okay, we're not just going to tell you we're not just going to give you the tools and say, hey, go in and find it yourself. We're also going to show you how to use these tools to build, your vision from the ground up. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to whatever platform you're watching. Continue to stay on for the Lifeline Conference. This is day one. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in the next session and also for day two. So please, until I see you next time, stay blessed.